Good afternoon, friends. As part of the mega initiative launched by the Prime Minister Shri Narendra Modi ji, Swachhata Pakhwada is being organized by various ministries and departments since last April. The Ministry of Drinking Water and Sanitation is the nodal ministry for Swachh Bharat mission. It has worked together with a number of other ministries to revamp and strengthen the delivery of services and disseminate information about the various initiatives and activities of Swachh Bharat mission. Today's press conference is part of these efforts and is the first in the series organized jointly by the Ministries of Drinking Water and Sanitation and Environment and Forest and Climate Change. I welcome Secretary, Ministry of Drinking Water and Sanitation, Shri Parameshwaran Iyer ji, Secretary, Ministry of Environment, Forest and Climate Change, Shri A.N. Jha ji, Dr. Amita Prasad, Additional Secretary, Ministry of Environment and Forest, and OSD, Ministry of Drinking Water and Sanitation, Shri Akshay Rawat. First, friends, the Secretary, DWS, will give his opening remarks. This will be followed by a presentation by the Secretary, Environment and Forest. We will then take a few questions. As usual, my request is kindly keep your mobile switched on or on a silent mode, and please follow the points of order. Now over to the Secretary.
Thank you very much, Frank. Welcome to all of you. I'm here today with my colleague Ajay Jha from the Ministry of Environment, and today's discussion is basically about the activities which have been taken place in the Ministry of Forest, Environment and Climate Change under the Swachh Pakhwada. So let me say a couple of words about this. This initiative of the Swachh Pakhwada, this, as Frank mentioned, is part of the Prime Minister's initiative. It's part of the overall Swachh Bharat mission. And the basic idea was that how do we make sure that all ministries and sectors who are not directly related to Swachh Bharat also incorporate Swachhata in their activities, and also to keep the momentum of Swachh Bharat ongoing throughout the year. So this idea was to have a fortnight of Swachhata related activities, and so this commenced from April. So this is the start, we're already in the third month. And more recently, when we took a quick look at the first 2 months, it was decided at a high level that we need to sort of revamp the Pakhwada. So we did a mid-course correction, and today Ministry of Environment and Forests is actually, this is the first sort of revamped and upgraded Pakhwada, if you like, where there are some significant activities, and Ajay will shortly give you a presentation. So that's the primary purpose of this, but let me also say a couple of quick words about the Swachh Bharat mission itself, very briefly. As you know, this is now, it's been going on now for about 18 to 20 months. It's picking up momentum, and the focus as far as the states are concerned is how do we get the movement towards open defecation free status in the states. We still have about 550 million people who practice open defecation in India. So there's a lot of momentum building up. We are focusing at different levels, at the state level and particularly at the district level, where we are supporting collectors and chief executive officers at the district level to work with local communities, NGOs and CBOs to take this thing forward. There's a lot of momentum currently going on in states. We make many state visits, and we try to motivate and incentivize the state governments, and there's a very good reaction so far. So that's on the main work which is going on in the states. A couple of other initiatives at the instance of the Prime Minister, where we're focusing together with the Ministry of Youth Affairs and Namami Gange on how can the Gram Panchayats along the Ganga become open defecation free in a shorter time frame. So this is happening in 5 states. There are 52 districts which have 1,651 Gram Panchayats, which are to be targeted to become open defecation free. And again, there's an ongoing movement, as I said, in collaboration with Youth Affairs, involving local youth, and of course Namami Gange. The other initiative is about how we are being encouraged to look at about 100 iconic places in India of tourist cultural significance, and to see how we can work with state governments together with Ministry of Urban Development, Culture and Tourism to see how these places can be cleaned not only inside but also outside. So that's another initiative going on, and we have also asked the World Bank to see whether they can provide technical assistance to help develop a standard of cleanliness and excellence in these iconic places. In the first instance, we'll be taking up 10 centers. We have a list of those in case you're interested. So just a couple other points is that in this whole movement, what is really important is how can the Swachh Bharat movement move both horizontally and within the states, because this is not a Sarkari program, it's a people's movement. But at a minimum, we would like all government programs to see how they can incorporate the best practices of Swachhata within their programs. So on that note, I'd like to stop and hand over to Ajay, because that I think is a cue for you to see how the Ministry of Forests, Environment and Climate Change has, what have they done, what are the outcomes of this Swachh Pakhwada, the revamped version. I'll request Ajay to take over and give you a quick presentation. Ajay.
Thank you. On behalf of the Ministry of Environment, Forest and Climate Change, I welcome all of you to this press briefing. I am thankful to the Secretary Drinking Water and Sanitation as well as Director General of PIB for giving me this opportunity to be here today amidst you and to give you a brief snapshot of what we are doing in this ministry. As my colleague mentioned, we organized the Swachh Bharat Pakhwada from 1st to 15th June. It was later extended by 4 days to take into account the vast activities, the large number of activities which we had taken up in our ministry. Our work was primarily divided into two parts. The first part focused on our office premises, which is typical of the Swachh Bharat activities which are taken up in different ministries. The second part focused on contact with people and spreading the message of Swachhata across different communities and individuals. In that, the theme was Go Wild for Life, and the sub-theme was to prevent illegal trade in wildlife products. But we focused, in line with the theme of the World Environment Day, on our national parks, protected areas, wildlife sanctuaries, conservation reserves, etc. I have a small presentation which will take you through the range of activities which we took up. Next, please. Basically, what we had focused on was cleanliness drive in identified areas, waste disposal, reduction of waste at source, use waste as a resource to promote clean environment, and the type of support which can be extended through the policy framework. As I mentioned, the Swachh Bharat Pakhwada was taken up in our ministry from 1st to 19th June, in line with the World Environment Day, which fell on 5th June. It was inaugurated by our Honorable Minister on the 1st, and an oath of Swachhata was administered to all the staff and officers on 26th May. Our building, as many of you would be aware, is a clean green building. It's certified 5-star Greha rating with LEED Platinum rating. We take pride in maintaining cleanliness in our premises, but we have tried to upgrade that. We have tried to upgrade the cleanliness drive to another level, where we have tried to make it into a zero waste building by segregating waste at source, which is that biodegradable and non-biodegradable waste is separated at source, for which we have entered into an agreement with an NGO called Chintan, who collect our waste, which is pre-segregated in the ministry itself. Our staff have been trained, officers have been trained, they have been given different types of bins to segregate the waste. Chintan collects this waste from us, the segregated waste, and takes it for processing, where they process it and give us back some compost which we use for our gardens around. So this is one initiative which we have tried to introduce in this period only, and this we'll make it into a regular activity of the ministry, and we are trying to take this type of an effort to other ministries and government agencies across the area. The other thing which we focused on was to make it a plastic-free building, for which we have tried to sensitize our staff and people who come there to make it a plastic-free building. These are some snapshots of the activities which we took up for the office side of it, the premises side of it. Next, please. As my colleague, Secretary Drinking Water and Sanitation pointed out, we had a special focus area. The primary purpose of this was to reach out to the maximum number of people we could, and for this, again, to repeat the point, in line with the theme of the World Environment Day, we targeted our protected areas, that is the wildlife sanctuaries, national parks, tiger reserves, and zoos, where maximum number of footfall takes place as far as we are concerned. To give you a brief idea, our total area under our total protected areas is 1.6 lakh square kilometers. There are more than 730 protected areas, 103 national parks, 535 wildlife sanctuaries, 66 conservation reserves, and 26 community reserves. On an average, every year, more than 32 lakh visitors come to our tiger reserves alone. So there are 49 tiger reserves. So because the other places we are not maintaining a record, which we will now try to do. And in Delhi Zoo alone, we have more than 25 lakh visitors. So the idea was that we focus on these areas to sensitize the people, carry the message of Swachhata across to individuals and through them to communities. In this task, we associated the states through the chief wildlife wardens and the principal chief conservators of forest. We have a program going, integrated development of wasteland habitats. Under that, we targeted to give some amount to take up cleanliness and maintenance inside national parks and sanctuaries, which will be made into a regular feature from now on. I myself visited the Jim Corbett Reserve to see and to lead the campaign over there. So the primary focus was to identify the weak areas and to take up the areas of strength which we have to spread these messages. This is about the Delhi Zoo, where we had a special campaign, and we also had a focused campaign on segregation of waste for biodegradable and non-biodegradable waste in the Delhi Zoo. I would like to mention here that we also took the assistance of the state pollution control boards and the municipalities in around the national parks to assist us in carrying out these campaigns, because they are the ones who could provide the expertise to our staff over there. Next, please. Similarly, these are examples from Andhra Pradesh, where it was done in the Koringa Wildlife Sanctuary. Next, please. Maharashtra, we had the Thane Creek Flamingo Sanctuary, where this was carried out. Then we have example from Nagaland to sensitize you about the spread of this campaign across the country. I would also like to highlight here that we identified 10 national parks as iconic parks on which our focus will be there, not only in this Pakhwada, but throughout the year, to make them examples to the community in and around that area of Swachhata and to spread the message of Swachh Bharat campaign. These are some examples of the best practices I have taken from Corbett, which is our flagship national park. the oldest also, tiger reserve in the country. One, there has been an emphasis on regular sensitization and training on solid waste management to the guides and safari vehicle drivers who bring tourists to the park. There are signages along the vantage points to make it into a litter-free zone. Then all vehicles entering reserve. This is a very significant thing which has been done there, and it has been done very successfully, I must tell you, is that every visitor is given a jute bag when they enter the park, in which they are supposed to carry back the litter which they generate, whether they eat food or chips or whatever, or if they consume water or soft drink. They are supposed to carry it back, and they are checked at the time of exit. Then the canteen staff are required to bring back all the waste generated by them, which is again what we introduced this time was segregation of waste into degradable and biodegradable. Then no PET bottles, plastic bottles are allowed to be used in the cafeteria, canteens which exist in the park. Only glass bottles are used. We insist policy, anybody is fined over there, and garbage collected is disposed outside the reserve with the help of the local municipality. At the moment, we do not have the facilities for waste segregation or processing, which we plan to take up in the next step, and we will see that in the 10 iconic national parks which we have identified, we can do this waste segregation in the park itself or close to it and generate biomass. This is a quotation which I thought I must place before you, because this came from one of the officials of Corbett who manages it, where he says, when I asked him, why do you not carry, why have you not put waste paper baskets or bins around in the national park? He says, public garbage boxes have been removed from the forest campus. Our experience shows that when such boxes are placed in the open, people carelessly throw garbage even around such boxes. Also, such boxes are vandalized by monkeys, and this creates other hazards, including enhancing the risk of human-wildlife conflict. Absence of public garbage bins has actually brought more discipline, as people are forced to carry back such garbage. This is a comment which one of the junior staff made to me, so I just thought I will place it before you. Finally, a word on a larger role which our ministry plays, which is integral to the Swachh Bharat campaign, is on waste management. We have brought out new rules recently in the month of March and April on solid waste management, plastics, biomedical waste, construction and demolition waste, hazardous waste, and e-waste. These have been notified. We have to carry the message of waste management across the country through municipalities, local bodies, state governments, private sector, NGOs, and it will be our effort this time to see that this becomes a sustained campaign and integrated into the lifestyle of the people. Finally, I would like to say that this Pakhwada will not end here. It is a year-long exercise for us, and maybe it will continue till we achieve a certain semblance of cleanliness which we plan to do, and assist the Ministry of Drinking Water and Sanitation in all their endeavors. We have another Pakhwada, incidentally, from 1st to 15th, so we will come back again and meet you. Thank you very much.
Yeah. Thank you, Secretary Sir. Now we will take a few questions. Yes,
Sir, I have a question. When talking about Corbett, you said that must be fine. For future opportunities, we all know that enforcement is education or awareness. So in any way, the rural development, our drinking water ministry is proposing that if anyone litters, he should be actually fined. But until that happens, things will not change. Are you going to make such kind of recommendations?
You are asking me or him?
Yes.
Okay, let me take that. So, this proposal has come up a number of times, and urban area, so we are in dialogue with the Urban Development Ministry on this. They deal with the municipalities, and we work more in the rural areas. So this is something which different states have different approaches to this, as to the fine and whether it should be penalized or not. So there are two approaches, right? You can either incentivize or you can penalize. And sometimes you do a bit of both. So different states have different approaches, but we're working with states to see whether this can be, this message can be communicated, whether you should impose penalties or not.
Any more questions? Yeah, please.
Can you tell us some name of some iconic cities in which?
Let me give you the name. So there are, I'll try to get most of them, and if I miss any, my colleagues will give you. So so let's start out with UP. That's my state. So you've got Agra, there's Manikarnika Ghat, Vaishno Devi, then you take Madurai, there's Tirupati, there is the CST, the old Victoria Terminal in Bombay. It's called Chhatrapati Shivaji Terminus now. Then Ajmer Sharif. How many do we have? Is that 6 or 7? Okay.
Sir,
Akshay, what are the rest?
just to supplement, Vaishno Devi and Tirupati and Golden Temple in Amritsar, Meenakshi Temple in Madurai, Taj and, as Secretary said, Taj in Agra and Manikarnika Ghat in Banaras, Varanasi, and makes it 10. Already Secretary had mentioned. So it makes it 10 in the first phase. As Secretary mentioned, it is 10 in the first phase, overall 100. So we are working on 10.
The second phase, so basically the idea is to pilot these 10, and so we're working with, basically this is a cross-ministry, cross-state effort. And of course the key organizations are the trusts themselves. But we're also hoping to involve the public and private sector to sponsor. So we already have a couple of public sector agencies which are committing to sponsor. And the idea is that once we set together in a collective effort, you set a benchmark of excellence. So what does it mean? So this is looking at a higher standard of cleanliness, not just inside but outside, whatever is a reasonable catchment area outside. So obviously it involves the municipalities mainly. So the idea is to set a sort of benchmark of excellence and then work with these different agencies to make sure that happens. So that's in the first instance, and depending on how that progresses, then in the second phase, the remaining 90 will be taken up. So that's the plan at the moment.
How many months it will take to complete this?
It's a good question. So we're not setting any timeline on this. We are just starting. So we are going to have a workshop in Delhi on the 8th and 9th of July, where we're bringing together all the partners, including the international technical advisors, and we'll decide from there what is a reasonable time frame.
Mr. Jha, yeah. Question. So this plan of how this initiative of how there were no more garbage bins allowed inside Jim Corbett. So do you plan to make it a kind of plan to extend that in other protected reserves, other forest areas, other parks, etc.?
Yes, we are based on Corbett, plus the feedback which we will receive from other states. We are in the process of drawing up a standard operating procedure. Just to tell you, the National Tiger Conservation Authority Gazette, the notification already emphasizes on maintenance of cleanliness around the tiger reserves. Now we want to take it a step forward. To start with, we have identified, as I told you, 10 sanctuaries, and we are circulating a note which carries the names. We'll try this out first in these 10 for sure. That is Koringa Wildlife Sanctuary in Andhra Pradesh, Gir in Gujarat, Kanha in Madhya Pradesh, Tadoba Andhari in Maharashtra, Flamingo Sanctuary in Maharashtra, Nagarhole Tiger Reserve in Karnataka, Periyar in Kerala, Sariska, Mudumalai, Sariska in Rajasthan, Mudumalai in Tamil Nadu, and Jim Corbett, of course, is there in Uttarakhand. So 10 will be the focus area, but in others also the standard operating procedures will be introduced.
परमेश्वरन सर, एक छोटा सा सवाल है, या इट्स हिमांशु फ्रॉम एनडीटीवी. You had thought also of propagating the idea of Swachh Bharat through ambassadors, iconic ambassadors. There were several names of Bollywood stars were also discussed. उस पे क्या update क्या है? क्या वो उन्होंने स्वीकार कर लिया है? Have they accepted the request that government had made to them to become the face of this Swachhta Abhiyan? And how many of these iconic personalities have actually agreed to be the brand ambassadors of Swachh Bharat Mission?
Sure. So there were 27 ambassadors originally nominated by the Prime Minister when this movement started, and I think all of them accepted it. That was 15, 16 months ago. So what has happened is over a period of time, at different stages, they have engaged, right? So and this is done both by urban development and by us, because we both have a part of Swachh Bharat. So more recently, we have reached out again in the last 6 weeks to the ambassadors and essentially asked them to engage with us and given them suggested areas of activities depending on their particular area of expertise or profession. So there's if you've seen that list, and we can share that list with you, it's ranging from film stars to sports persons to some governors, there are comedians, and so more recently Mr. Raju Srivastava, who was on that list, he's offered to come out, and he actually has done a bit of work during, I think, one of the Kumbh Melas in Ujjain. So this is going on now, but we plan to accelerate the efforts of the ambassadors by reaching out to them again. And in fact, yesterday we had a high-powered committee meeting on communication for Swachh Bharat and the Ganga, chaired by the Information and Broadcasting Minister. And one of the items listed there was, how can we sort of re-engage, or I should say, how do we get more out of the ambassadors? Because they've all offered their support. So we need to channelize that.
So how many of them have you actually?
We have contacted all, and
what are the numbers?
They're 27. They're 27.
How many ambassadors went to some places for doing publicity and the things?
Yeah, so I think all of them at different stages have engaged. I mean, we can give you those details, but what we are trying to do now in a more focused way, reaching out.
Yeah, please ask you.
So, Mr. Jha, you mentioned about Chintan Press and how they are working with the ministry now. So, what I wanted to know was specifically in this fortnight, have you had an idea about how much waste the ministry is generating till now? And what was happening before this? Was it going to the landfills, the waste from premises? And second question is regarding the protected areas and tiger reserves. A lot of these areas closer to the habitations or in cities, for example, the National Park in Bombay, they are porous. So how do you look at controlling the cleanliness there when the boundaries are not exactly restricted?
To answer the first question, arrangement with Chintan is very recent. So we have not really assessed the total quantum. We are in the process because it will also give us an idea about the type of compost which we'll get back, or which we can make available to others also. So that exercise we'll be doing. But sizable waste was being generated, and earlier it used to be collected by the municipal bodies and taken to the landfills. This is what we also wanted to avoid, because landfill also means that a lot of land has to be made available for the increasing size of the landfills. And if you can segregate waste, which our new guidelines also emphasize, you can reduce the pressure on the landfills, which is currently there, because a lot of waste can be then processed for composting or for even energy generation. The second question which you have asked is a very fundamental question, and this is a challenge in most of these protected areas. And even in Corbett, for example, the type of pressure which comes on the habitat due to the very large number of visitors who go and live in those various types of resorts and other places which have come up around that area. Now that creates a lot of pressure on the entire ecology and also on the availability of water, general cleanliness. There are villages which are in and around the reserve area. So there also this message has to be carried out, because waste generation brings in wild animals. Like recently, cheetah was there, which had attacked the villagers because it came in search of food, which was being thrown away by the villagers. So there are conflict situations, and our emphasis in this campaign will be also on trying to bring in the community around the national parks and reserves into this fold of Swachhata Abhiyan. We have started in a small way, but as all of you would be aware, most national parks would be closing down or have already closed down for the next 4 months or so till monsoons. So when we restart around October or so, our focus will be on bridging these gaps between the local communities around the national parks as well as the park management. They can't be in isolation. They have to work together if we have to achieve this objective. Thank you.
Mr. Jha, this here. My question is about landfill sites. Most of our cities are, choked with all these sites. Wherever you go, Bangalore, Bombay, Delhi, and all, and we don't need we need to deal with it in a mission mode, perhaps in war footing. What are the steps you are taking in terms of dealing with it? It's a huge, gigantic task. If you look at Delhi, Bangalore, Bombay, these three cities like.
Yes, I know it's a big challenge. In fact, one of the things our new rules address is exactly this problem, to reduce the pressure on the landfill sites. They are very recent, as I mentioned. We have come out with this policy only in March, April. Around the end of March, these came out. So our emphasis is now to carry this forward step by step with the help of the municipalities, local bodies around, state governments. State governments will be big partners. And a lot of programs are there already of the Ministry of Urban Development. We will have to bring this into that fold, bring it into the bylaws of the municipalities, so that if by segregating waste you can reduce the landfill site, that itself will be a big success.
Yeah.
So,
Sir,
this is our objective and we are working towards it. Let me assure you of that.
सर परमेश्वर जी, आपने वर्ल्ड बैंक से टेक्निकल असिस्टेंस की बात कही है. थ्रो सम लाइट ऑन द टेक्निकल असिस्टेंट. व्हाट सॉर्ट ऑफ असिस्टेंस यू आर रिक्वायरिंग?
So we've just initiated the dialogue on this. The idea is, most of these iconic places are already reasonably clean within. It's outside which is a bigger problem. So the question is, and a lot of efforts have been going on. If the Golden Temple, for example, they're making a very serious effort to clean outside. So a lot is going on already. Idea is here, we thought we will look for some international expertise in benchmarking. How do you benchmark these, typically what is a world-class standard for cleanliness in such iconic places? Obviously it has to be site-specific. You cannot have, standards imposed which do not fit the local context. But the idea was to bring about that experience. So they're bringing in some experts from different parts of the world who have good experience of India, who understand the Indian context. And the idea here is to get them to suggest, together with the partners and the places, how can you set a standard which you can meet realistically in a time frame. So the focus is on that part of it, technical assistance.
सर परमेश्वरन सर, ये कोई स्पेसिफिक सवाल नहीं है आपसे. मैं आपके केवल असेसमेंट जानना चाहता हूँ. 2 अक्टूबर 2014 को ये शुरू हुआ, आप थोड़े दिनों बाद आए थे इसमें. अभी तक का क्या अनुभव है आपका? हम लोग ट्रैक पे हैं, पीछे चल रहे हैं, क्या अनुभव है आपका? क्योंकि हम लोग को कोई बहुत ज्यादा परसेप्टेबल चेंज कई जगह नहीं दिखता है. क्या आपका?
ये आपने अच्छा सवाल उठाया. देखिए, इसमें the program was officially announced on 2nd October 2014. So we are about 18 months away. Now, first of all, you need to, everyone knows, but let me give you a little bit of the context. So globally, there are 1 billion people who practice open defecation. 600 million of them are in India. So this is a monumental challenge which has never been seriously addressed. This is the first time that the chief executive of any country has invested in this, has put it as a flagship program. So that is the first step. Without that, we would not be having any momentum. This is how they did it in Korea, in Malaysia, Singapore, where in much smaller countries it was easier to do as a unitary system. So, आपने पूछा कि progress क्या है? So let me just give you a snapshot. So right now, if you look at the increase in coverage from about, I think it's from end of 2014 till now, the coverage of sanitation has increased by about 14%, from 38% to 52%, which is a remarkable improvement. I mean, by any standards, in such a short time, people, this is a program which normally would take much longer. So I think there's been a lot of momentum. Now, and if you look at the number of toilets built which are being used for the most part, according to an NSSO survey, is about 1.8, 1.9 crores. The issue now is how do you accelerate this and scale it up? So if you look at across the country, there are some states which are much more ahead than others. Now, for example, UP and Bihar together account for about 35% of the lack of access. So these are big states with big challenges, and they require different approaches. There are some states like Kerala, which is already 95%, which actually is planning to become open defecation free in November. Other states, Haryana, Himachal, they're all about 75-80%. So states are at different rates. So there is a lot of momentum. Now, what we have done is we have tried, and if you look at districts, there are 677 districts approximately in India. Only 16 districts are open defecation free. It's a big challenge, and a lot of initiative has been taken by collectors. So there is a lot of momentum which has picked up over the last 18 months. I think that we are at a stage now where this is going to accelerate further. And actually what is really working is, there is an old formula which we used to use 20 years ago called PM, CM, DM, right? That's the formula which works. It's the Prime Minister's National Flagship Program, it's his vision, it's his leadership. Many state governments, chief ministers are leading this. And ultimately the collector, we call them district magistrates in UP, that's the level at which all programs converge. Whether it's maternal health or education or literacy or sanitation, it's all pulled together, but it's not a Sarkari program. They unleash the creativity of local actors. So what we have done is to come up with what is the target is October 2nd, 2019. I think we are on track to answer your question. It's a very big challenge. What we have done is in phase 1, I joined this about 3 months ago, and a lot of momentum was already there. What we are planning now is we are working with states. We are taking 160 districts in phase 1, and we interact directly with collectors and chief executive officers of Zilla Panchayats together with state governments. In fact, we have a weekly video conference. We call it ODF Saturday. ODF is open defecation free. So we take 40 collectors at a time, and every month we try to cover these 160 districts. We're having a big workshop for them in Raipur on 1st, 2nd July. So there's a lot of momentum. At the ground level, there's a lot of activity. A lot of it you don't see because you're looking for some extent, in urban areas there are bigger challenges. So you might be seeing urban areas more. Of course, it's a big challenge in rural, the scale. But to sum up, there's a lot of momentum. It's a lot of hard work. The action is in the state governments. So we try to work and incentivize states. I think it's really moving, and hopefully you will see more visible results in the days to come.
Yeah, right.
Yeah. So what I was asking is that, as you have rightly said, 62% of the people of the households have been covered. But what is the percentage of these people are actually using the toilets and who are not using? Why? And number 2, is there any plan to also have sewage system so that the physical cleaning of the 2 feet is not required?
Look, it's a very good question, and as I said, there is a clear shift from focusing on construction of toilets to using behavior change in order to achieve open defecation free status. So the thrust is on behavior change. I think that's very important to understand. And through behavior change, you increase usage. So to answer your question, there was a recent National Sample Survey Organization survey which found that actually over 90% of usage, this was last September. Now, so I think usage is much more on the agenda, and what is being made sure is that when you start triggering communities, finding out why they need, what are the triggers to change behavior, ingrained behavior where for centuries people have been going out, through that collective process, you are making sure that people demand toilets, and therefore there's a greater chance they will use them. So there's a big focus on that. Now, in rural sanitation, it is mainly about individual household toilets. So individual household either constructs it themselves or they get a local mason to build it, and they maintain it themselves. So maintenance in the rural program is at a household level. When you come to urban, community toilets. In a community toilet situation, the better model is a revenue generating model where people pay for it, so that it becomes self-sustainable. That has been done to a large extent in India. You have seen the Sulabh model, and that is trying to be rolled out in an urban area. In a rural area, some states have got community sanitation complexes like Tamil Nadu. Now there the state government makes sure that there's a person who's hired on contract basis to maintain. So that works. But otherwise, typically in rural areas, it's more about individual toilets.
Is it only about toilets and nothing else?
Good question. So it's a very good question because we have been trying to address that. So, so far the emphasis has been mainly about open defecation free, which is about toilets, right? So when you're talking of open, and you need that. And there's a reason for that. It's also because you get health impact out of that. There's a significant health impact when a community or a village or a gram panchayat becomes open defecation free. So there's, children below 5 subject to diarrhea, dysentery, so all that improves. It also reduces childhood stunting. But beyond that, we're also talking of clean villages. And I think that's an important part. So there is a concept which we call solid and liquid waste management, which typically is more of a problem in peri-urban or rural villages, but it's still becoming increasingly a problem with increasing population. So solid and liquid waste management is very much part of Swachh Bharat, Grameen, which is what my ministry handles. Now there are guidelines for that, and recently we have come up with the concept of an index of village swachhata. So what is a clean village? So for us, a clean village it has to be ODF, open defecation free. It should have good solid and liquid waste management, plus it should be visually clean. So this formula, and we have recently decided that we will focus and we'll develop an index. So from 0 to 10, where does this village fit in? We need to have good indicators for solid and liquid waste management, which we are developing. We already have for ODF. And then in the village, the idea is to focus more on places where there is more footfall, to use the term Ajay used, the panchayat ghar or the clinic, the school, etc. So it's very much, it's not only ODF. ODF is a very important part of it, but we also want to have clean villages.
Sir, Vivek.
Yeah, Himanshu. We'll give you a chance now.
विवेक सर झा सर से सवाल है कि जो ये स्पेशल ड्राइव के लिए जो 10 प्रोटेक्टेड एरियाज चुने गए हैं, इनका आधार क्या है? और दूसरा कि उत्तर प्रदेश, बिहार, मध्य प्रदेश में अभी कई कन्फ्लिक्ट मैन वर्सेज एनिमल के बीच हुए हैं, तो उन्हें क्यों नहीं शामिल किया गया? और परमेश्वरन सर से एक सवाल है कि जो प्रोटेक्टेड एरियाज हैं, उनके बगल जो आबादी रहती है, उनके सैनिटेशन को लेके क्या हो रहा है, क्या सोचा जा रहा है?
नहीं, देखिए इसमें जो 10 आइकॉनिक पार्क्स चुने गए हैं, ये एक रिप्रेजेंटेटिव सैंपल है, देश के विभिन्न क्षेत्रों से लिया गया है। इसमें एक मापदंड था कि ज्यादा से ज्यादा लोग जहां जाते हों, वो एक मापदंड था, ताकि हमारा इम्पैक्ट सबसे ज्यादा हो। इसमें एक जैसे उदाहरण है, आप पूछेंगे काजीरंगा क्यों नहीं है? काजीरंगा तो एक आइकॉनिक पार्क है। काजीरंगा बंद हो गया था 1 जून से, तो इसीलिए काजीरंगा को इस पखवाड़े में नहीं रखा गया। और जैसा मैंने आपको बताया है कि आगे जब पार्क्स खुलेंगे अक्टूबर के बाद, तो उस समय काजीरंगा और अन्य जो पार्क हैं जो बंद हो गए होंगे उस टाइम में, उनको उसमें शामिल कर लिया जाएगा। जहां तक मैन एनिमल कॉन्फ्लिक्ट का सवाल है, ये कई स्तर पे है और इसका जो फोकस हमारा यहाँ पे रहा है, इस कार्यक्रम के में जो रहा है, वो है सिर्फ नेशनल पार्क के इर्द गिर्द जो बसे शहर हों या छोटे गांव हों, उसके अंदर में वहां पे फोकस ज्यादा रहा है इस प्रोग्राम में। और वैसे इन जनरल तो एक बहुत बड़ा प्रश्न है और ये प्रेस कॉन्फ्रेंस के बाहर है, उस पर हम लोग चर्चा कर सकते हैं। जो तीसरा सवाल ये है कि उसमें हम कैसे उनको शामिल करेंगे, जो आपने हमारे सहयोगी जी से पूछा था, उसमें मैं सिर्फ ये बताना चाहूंगा कि अभी ये एक फर्स्ट स्टेप लिया है। अभी तक हम लोग 2 अलग अलग ढांचे पे चल रहे हैं। नेशनल पार्क अथॉरिटीज एक लाइन पे चलती है, लोकल बॉडीज का अपना प्रोग्राम रहता है, अपनी तरह से वो चलते हैं, बट इनको साथ लाने की एक प्रक्रिया इस पखवाड़े में शुरू की गई है ताकि उनको सम्मिलित किया जाए, क्योंकि प्रॉब्लम एक ही है, दोनों का प्रॉब्लम एक तरह से समझे अगर स्वच्छता के दृष्टिकोण से तो एक हो जाता है। तो ये आगे चलेगा और इसको और सुदृढ़ और मजबूत बनाएंगे हम, ताकि हमारा जो भी समन्वय हो सकता है मैक्सिमम दोनों के बेनिफिट के लिए हो सके।
Mr. Iyer, you may have read an article written by Mr. Chidambaram in Express recently on Swachh Bharat Abhiyan, where he mentioned a lack of drainage system in the villages, and how does that pose a challenge for the open defecation, target, and what exactly is your response on that? And Mr. Jha, one more thing, you are talking about solid waste management in the urban areas, but when the time comes of the harvesting, and we see the agriculture, residue being burned on a larger scale in the hinterland, the kind of pollution that they raise, what is your strategy to deal with those things?
Thank you. Let me talk about the drainage issue, which I think is increasingly important. As I mentioned, when we talk of solid and liquid waste management, that includes drainage. So, just to be a little technical, in terms of drainage, you've got two kinds of wastewater, right? You've got black water, which is in the trade, which is basically the coming from the toilet. So if you are, if you are moving towards open defecation-free status, to a large extent the black water problem is contained through individual household toilets and rural areas. Then so you've got grey water, then you've got kitchen wastewater, you've got from the bathroom, you could have stormwater drainage, which is from rainwater. So that grey water, how is that disposed? Again, it depends on the context. Typically in what you might call a truly rural context with scattered villages, you can have on-site solutions like soak pits outside houses. You don't necessarily need to have network drains. But if you're talking about peri-urban areas, Haryana, Punjab, Kerala, for example, in densely congested areas, you may need to have drains. So that is part of Swachh Bharat under solid and liquid waste management. Many states have come up with good models. Andhra Pradesh, Tamil Nadu, there's some good examples of solid and liquid waste management. But again, we still need to improve templates and have a shelf of projects so that states can readily adopt this. So we are putting together a shelf of projects. We're having a workshop in Trivandrum on 15-16 July only on solid and liquid waste management. We are pulling together best practices. This is one area which we need to focus more on. So far it's been more on ODF. But if we are aware of this, we need to develop indicators and we need to develop templates so that states can easily pick them up. But as I mentioned, the context is important. And you can have local solutions, you can have network solutions.
Yeah, sir.
एक सवाल, एक मिनट, इन्होंने पूछा था जो गांव में खेतों हार्वेस्ट के बाद जो जलाते हैं, इसमें मैं जस्ट एक बताना चाहूंगा कि पिछले साल हमारी मंत्रालय ने 3 राज्यों के साथ मीटिंग की थी, पंजाब, हरियाणा और राजस्थान, और इसमें इस प्रॉब्लम पे ही फोकस था, किस तरह से कम ये हो ताकि जो पोल्यूशन होता है वो कम हो। और इस बार पाया गया है, स्टडीज भी हुई हैं, कि जो धुएं के कारण और इस फसल के हार्वेस्ट के बाद जो जलाते हैं उसके कारण जो पोल्यूशन हुआ वो रिड्यूस हुआ है। तो इसमें राज्यों का सहयोग बहुत जरूरी है और ये इस बार देखा गया है और किया गया है। आगे भी हम इस पे चर्चा करते रहेंगे राज्यों से ताकि इस प्रकार से पोल्यूशन कम रहे।
Look, I think that's a very important, that's a fundamental question in a campaign like Swachh Bharat, where the media campaign, communication is key to this whole thing. And so it's happening at 2 levels. So first answer to you is yes. I think that there's increasing awareness about Swachh Bharat, both rural and urban. But I think more needs to be done. And the way we are dealing with this is, so when you do sort of communication, what we call behavior change communication, typically you do it at 2 levels. There's a mass media level, which is all about audio, visual, print, etc. And then there is interpersonal communication, which is equally important, if not more important. Because so you need boots on the ground, you need people who can influence the Gram Pradhan and people on the ground. But there's a technique to this. So there is a technique called community-led total sanitation, which essentially talks about how do you involve communities and make them understand the importance of sanitation and why they need to have toilets and to have a clean village. So this we're doing in two ways. There are a limited number of organizations which can actually carry out such trainings. So we have started using technology through virtual classrooms. So what we are doing is, the scale is so big that unless you can address multiple locations simultaneously, you will not be able to deal with the issue of spreading behavior change communication. So we have started in the last 3 or 4 weeks, where so you use the NIC network, you have trainers in one location in Delhi, and they can do multiple locations simultaneously. But that is only classroom training. During that 3 or 4 day training, they go out to the field, the facilitators, they go and practice what do they need to do on the ground. So it's a combination of both. But more than that, it's also using the media and coming up with a campaign, whether it's print media or audio visual. So we are working together with the government media, with the whole information and broadcasting network, but we are also reaching out to private networks. So this, we have also developed a communication strategy with UNICEF, so how to do this forward. So communication is a key part. I think that there's much more awareness now than there's ever been before, but clearly a long way to go.
We'll take last 2 questions. From that side one, yeah. We'll come back to him.
सर अभी सुलभ मॉडल की बात की गई, तो जानकारी के लिए कि क्या सुलभ मॉडल को जो मिनिस्ट्री है उसका अध्ययन की है क्या? और ये प्रेस नोट में एक देख रहा हूँ चिंतन एनजीओ का, तो सुलभ मॉडल का अध्ययन करने के पश्चात ही ऐसा निर्णय लिया गया होगा जैसा आपने कहा कि सुलभ मॉडल, तो सुलभ मॉडल को बारे में कुछ जानकारी और क्या देखा गया है, उसको फॉरेस्ट मिनिस्ट्री के अंदर कैसे हम लोग एक साथ कर रहे हैं, इस पर थोड़ा सा प्रकाश चाहते हैं।
सुलभ मॉडल जो है वो टॉयलेट का है, वो शौचालय का है, वो हमारा नहीं है। हमारा तो था कि हमारे यहाँ जो वेस्ट कचरा जनरेट होता है उसको किस तरह से डिस्पोज किया जाए। तो उसमें ये जो एनजीओ है वो सामने आए, हम लोगों से चर्चा किया, उसके बाद पाया गया कि उनका काम अच्छा रहा है और जगह भी उन्होंने इसको ठीक से किया है। तो वो हमारे यहाँ जो कचरा निकलता है ऑफिस से, खाना हो या वेस्ट पेपर हो या प्लास्टिक हो, कई प्रकार का कचरा है, उसको किस तरह से डिस्पोज करेंगे। तो उसमें वो अलग अलग करके हम उनको दे देते हैं। जो डिग्रेडेबल है, बायोडिग्रेडेबल है, उसको वो कंपोस्टिंग में इस्तेमाल करते हैं, बाकी का वो डिस्पोजल करते हैं। तो यही एक मॉडल है और इनका कार्य देख करके ही इनको रखा गया था।
परमेश्वरन सर, जो 10 आइकॉनिक प्लेसेस आपने आइडेंटिफाई किए हैं, ताजमहल से लेके वैष्णो देवी एंड अदर्स, आपने कहा कि इनको अंदर और बाहर दोनों जगह क्लीन करने की कोशिश की जाएगी। स्पेसिफिक्स में सर, क्योंकि इसको लेके बहुत उत्सुकता है मीडिया में अभी कि किस तरह से आप इसके लिए क्या रोड मैप आपने तैयार किया है, किस तरह से आप इन प्लेसेस को क्लीन करने की कोशिश करेंगे, क्योंकि इनसे करोड़ों लोग आइडेंटिफाई करते हैं तुरंत। क्या रोड मैप तैयार किया गया, कैसे आप इसको क्लीन करने की तरफ आगे कदम उठाएं?
No, look, it's a good question, and I know there's a lot of interest in this. So this has just started, right? So the idea here is that these 10 iconic places are the pilot. They're already got their own plans. So we have asked for their current plans for the cleanup. Inside they're already, doing whatever they're doing. This is a little bit more focused on the outside, but it's also both. So we held, in the first instance, just to give you the steps which were taken, we had a meeting together with urban development, culture and tourism. We held a 4-way video conference with the chief secretaries of these 10 states, jahan pe ye hai, 8 states. Including the local municipal commissioners and जी हाँ। तो इसमें उसके बाद उसमें यह चर्चा हुई कि उनका एग्जिस्टिंग एक्शन प्लान क्या है क्लीन अप के लिए। तो ये उन्होंने हमको करीब हमने अक्षय कैन गिव यू डिटेल्स 5 या 6 जगह से हमारे पास उनका एक्शन प्लान मिला है ना। उसमें उन्होंने स्पेसिफिक एक्शंस लिस्ट किए हैं कि एग्जैक्टली व्हाट आर दे फोकसिंग ऑन और पेरीमीटर क्या होगा, वो इम्पोर्टेंट एक है। कि कैचमेंट एरिया बाहर वो कॉन्टेक्स्ट स्पेसिफिक होगा कि आप गोल्डन टेम्पल में अगर बाहर आपके दुकानें हैं या एग्जिस्टिंग स्ट्रक्चर्स हैं तो कैन यू टेक दैट अप और नॉट. तो ये हमने कलेक्ट किया है. नेक्स्ट स्टेप ये है कि वी हैव नाउ इनवाइटेड वर्ल्ड बैंक एक्सपर्ट्स टू कम एंड डिस्कस विद द 10 प्लेसेस. और इसमें ये फर्स्ट वीक ऑफ जुलाई में ये टीम आ रही है. उनके साथ हम एक वर्कशॉप करेंगे जिसमें हम एक ये ट्रस्ट से, स्टेट गवर्नमेंट से, म्यूनिसिपैलिटी से और मिनिस्ट्री से हम इनको इन्वॉल्व करेंगे. इसमें करीब 50-60 लोग आएंगे ये वर्कशॉप के लिए, जिसमें ये अपने प्लान्स प्रेजेंट करेंगे और उसमें यह तय किया जाएगा कि इसमें बेंचमार्क क्या है ना. उसमें व्हाट आर द स्टैंडर्ड्स ऑफ एक्सेलेंस विच ईच प्लेस इट विल बी स्पेसिफिक टू दैट नीड्स टू सेट. सो कमिंग आउट ऑफ दिस वर्कशॉप हमारे वी विल हैव 2 or 3 आउटपुट्स. एक आउटपुट ये रहेगा कि बेंचमार्क क्या है. सेकेंड इज इसमें क्या क्या एक्शंस नेसेसरी हैं, फाइनेंसिंग सोर्सेज, फाइनेंसिंग रिक्वायरमेंट क्या है, क्या हम स्पॉन्सर कैन वी ऑर्गेनाइज स्पॉन्सर्स ईच वन. आइडियली हम चाह रहे हैं कि हर एक जगह के लिए एक कॉर्पोरेट स्पॉन्सर हो.
प्राइवेट प्लेयर को इन्वॉल्व करने के लिए.
जी हाँ, प्राइवेट सेक्टर को उस सपोर्ट करने के लिए. जैसे यहाँ पे ऑलरेडी हमने नैल्को हैज अग्रीड to sponsor the cleanup of Jagannath Puri. So like that we need to get more sponsors. And we will have a time frame, we'll have an action plan. So after that meeting, we'll have more details for you in terms of exactly time frame क्या है, specific actions क्या है. So give us a couple of weeks and फिर हम आपके पास वापस आएंगे. Jagannath Puri.
This is really the last question. Okay.
सर मेरा सवाल अजय जी से है. सर आपने बताया था कि ये जो फसलों का जो वेस्ट होता है उसको जलाने से पोल्यूशन रिड्यूस हुआ है. आपने जो लास्ट ईयर मीटिंग की थी 3 स्टेट्स के साथ, दिल्ली के जो 7 लगने वाले राज्य हैं, पंजाब, हरियाणा वगैरह के साथ, उन्होंने कौन से स्टेप लिए हैं जिसकी वजह से मतलब पोल्यूशन में आप रिडक्शन की बात कर रहे हैं. और ये स्टडी जो आप कह रहे थे कि स्टडी भी हुआ है, तो स्टडी इंडियन स्टडी है या फिर मतलब इंटरनेशनल स्टडी क्या है मतलब एग्जैक्टली?
पोल्यूशन कंट्रोल बोर्ड उसको मेजर करती है, तो स्मोक से जो पोल्यूशन हो रहा है उसकी मेजरमेंट का जाड़े के समय ज्यादा तक देखा गया है कि विंटर्स में ये बढ़ जाता है. तो उन्होंने स्टडी किया कि उसके कारण जो धुएं के कारण जो पोल्यूशन हो रहा था उसमें वो घटा है. तो सीपीसीबी वो मॉनिटर डेली करते हैं, उनका तो कांस्टेंट मॉनिटरिंग होता रहता है. तो उसमें जो ये जो मैटर है ना, पर्टिकुलर मैटर का, वो कम हुआ. ये एक आंकड़ा निकला था. और मेजर्स में था स्टेट गवर्नमेंट्स ने अपने लोगों के साथ उन्होंने उनको एक अवेयरनेस ड्राइव किया कि इसको कम जलाएं, उसको दूसरे प्रयोग में लाएं, उसको कंपोस्टिंग में दिया जा सकता है और कई तरह से उसका उपयोग हो सकता है. तो ये किया गया था.
So I thank both the secretaries and Akshay and Dr. Amitaji. Friends, thanks for being here and making it possible. The ministries have arranged snacks and tea. Please join us.